I have to admit it. I'm one of those who have seen David Fincher's masterpiece on the sofa before taking interest in Chuck Palahniuk's novel. Charles Michael Palahniuk was born on February 21, 1962 in Pasco, Washington. He grew up in a mobile home in nearby Burbank. His parents, Fred and Carol, divorced while Palahniuk was in his early teens. Palahniuk attended journalism school at the University of Oregon, receiving his degree in 1986. After college, Palahniuk reported for a radio station in Eugene, Oregon. Then he started to write for Portland's Oregonian newspaper. He soon switched gears entirely, going to work as a diesel mechanic, a job he would hold until his career as a fiction writer took off. Palahniuk faced early rejection for his dark and satiric writing, but persevered to write Fight Club, which was published in 1996. The 1999 film version of the novel, which starred Brad Pitt and Edward Norton, shot Palahniuk into the spotlight. He remained a popular author, whose other novels include Choke, 2001, Lullaby, 2002, and Damned, 2011. The author is one of the most controversial and provocative writers of the young American generation. His nonconformist and frankly criticism of the consumer system, his naked and unashamed style of writing, which is full of short phrases and thoughts, are the key elements of his bestseller and his subsequent novels. The combination of violence, harsh reality sequences, deep morality of the topics covered and the difficult comprehension of them impeded the movie to reach the fame it deserved, until the home video distribution turned it into the cult everyone knows. The well-known director, David Fincher, was in the crossfire of positive and negative critics for his film. Variety described Fight Club as an inventive, sustained adrenaline rush of a movie. While the film garnered some positive reviews, it also drew fiery responses from other critics. Some rebuked the film's political leanings, while others objected to what they believed was a glorification of violence. Roger Ebert, for example, wrote that Fight Club was cheerfully fascist, a celebration of violence and macho porn. Fincher was a bit bewildered by the outcries, telling Entertainment Weekly that "I've always thought people would think the film was funny. It's supposed to be satire, a dark comedy." The book, as the movie, show us the mal de vivre through the eyes of a nameless, bored and depressed employee whose life focuses on his job, that is, assessing car crashes to determine if his automobile company should issue a call to fix problems. On the impulse buying by phone, on a non-existent social life, and a persistent insomnia due to the huge dissatisfaction that rules his existence. The only thing he takes comfort in is the super group for cancer patients. Among suffering people, he finds empathy, the ability to unload his feelings, and the chance to bear his own anxiety. This fake serenity lasts until he met Marla Singer, a gloomy, deeply disturbed with suicidal tendencies woman, who joins the support group as the main character does, although she is not ill. The encounter subverts the precarious mental stability of the nameless man, which plunges himself into discouragement and depression. Here is the turning point. During a business trip, he meets a very particular soap seller. His name is Tyler Darden, a proactive, resolute, subservient, and good-looking man, which offered the unnamed man to live together after the explosion of his fictive flat. The only condition for the cohabitation in the crumbling suburban building of the soap seller is that the new lodger fist fight with him. What seemed to be a crazy condition imposed by a few too many drinks turns into a ritual painted by Tyler as an act of revolt against society, against consumerism, conformity, and the love of appearing instead of being. The first fights between the two draw a crowd of curious to join them into the creation of a secret and illegal group of fist fight, later known as Fight Club, whose first and second rule are you do not talk about Fight Club. The clubs increase under the charismatic leadership of Tyler, following his nihilist indoctrination and acquiring an eco-terrorist sort that brings them to make attempts on multinationals' headquarters and powerful men. Tyler starts a relationship with Marla after saving her from a suicide attempt and assembles a clandestine army known as Mayan Project before it disappears. Here we find the first incongruity between the book and the movie. The nameless man searches for Tyler all over the country until discovers because of a call with Mara that his name is Tyler Dandon, and that, therefore, his ego divided himself, giving birth to a violent and rabid personality, specular at his own. No one tells him the truth in the book, and the protagonist tries to break free from the bad Tyler by shooting himself in the face, crossing out his shadow. In the last sequences we found other variances. In the movie, he stands, after killing his double, holding hands with Marla, and looking at the explosions of the multinationals, hit by Mayan Project, while Pixie's song Where Is My Mind ends the scene. But in the book, the terroristic attempts of his double does not wrap up, and Tyler wakes up after shooting himself in what seems to be a psychiatric hospital. A difference that goes along all the movie is the black humor of the director, that is an absent element in Palahniuk's novel. The complex plot of Fight Club explains us the malaise of the modern man, stuck in the alienating world which suppresses his instinct and impedes his aggressiveness to race. This repression mechanism is poured out by the protagonist by the compulsive buying of material goods, by insomnia and the attendance to terminally ill patients group, an attendance that lets him come into contact with the sufferers in order to have a sounding chamber for his existing angst. The meeting with Marla breaks the spell. She is a simulator, as he is. Because of his further trauma, the protagonist splits himself in two, creating the bad Tyler, giving birth to the temples of violence and raising the organization which aim is the destruction of the society's basis. Is moreover analyzed the almost non-existent relationship with his father, who starts families all over the country, and the reiteration of his son, who creates fighter families all over the same country. Tyler understands just at the end that he needs to accept and reinstate his negative in order to find an healthy equilibrium. The topics faced in the Fight Club are so innate in our society that a largely part of audience look at the film as a big fist fight spiced with a great cast, although it hides so much more. Everyone has his bad Tyler, and the movie, as the books, makes us understand that we have to accept it coexisting with it.
Stop.